Some people are straight, and some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. Some prefer the top, and some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. We're all just sexual. Yeah. Hey, we're not in the 60s, but yet we're talking about the same things. So why are we having these same discussions? It's so interesting that you find it fascinating. Who I'm sleeping with and what I'm doing. Why do we all need these labels? Your character is all that matters to me. You shouldn't let ideology invade us. Make you stop loving family and friends. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people are gay. Ooh, yeah. Maybe I'm just sexual. Some prefer the top, and some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people are gay. Oh, yeah. Baby, I'm just sexual. Ooh, yeah. Some prefer the top, some prefer the bottom. Some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Yeah. Why do we all need these labels? Is he gay or straight or somewhere in between? Yeah. Don't let ideology and labels make you treat your brother or your sister differently. Yeah. Some people are straight. Some people are straight. Some people are gay. Some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Some people are straight. Some people are gay. Some people are straight. Maybe I'm just sexual. Baby. I don't need a label.
What's going on, everyone? Hello. I hope that you all are having a wonderful Tuesday evening. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I'm excited to get back into this this book, The Cross and the Closet by Timothy Kurek. I've been having a lot of conversations. I've been seeing a lot of conversations lately about LGBT issues and just LGBT people having to continuously provide burden of proof of how they are human, even though there are people outside of them who will see them as less than and don't have any factual evidence to back it up. And the evidence that they do have to back it up can be said about them. So, but I do appreciate, again, Timothy Kurek for being an individual who actually stepped out and created the gap. And it's so crazy because he created that gap within himself. And as we see in this chapter that we're going to read, chapter 16, it's been a while now that he's been doing this experiment, and he's faced a lot of the adversities that LGBT people had to face. And even with him, once again, doing the experiment, he would never truly genuinely understand, I want to say, as far as uniquely what LGBT people have to go through. Their existence literally is this pseudo threat to everybody. And I'm glad that he was able to do this experiment so that he can prove for himself what the truth is. And then for those who are struggling with that, to have a book to kind of explain his situation and his experiences with this experiment, so that you don't necessarily have to do all of the heavy lifting and all of the mental gymnastics and all of the fear-based stuff for real, not just over the keyboard or over the internet or, you know, just around other people we don't know, but to actually be in the thick of it to see for himself. But before we get into that, I want to get into this, okay? Because once again, we smart over here. We dot our I's and cross our T's. Oh my God, there's a spider. I'm surprised I did not freak out, y'all. It is a spider right here on my pop filter. Oh, come on, bro. I need you to go, man. Ooh, shit, he fell. God damn it. Hold on, y'all. Ah, great. I tried to fling him off of it and he fell. Girl. Oh, girl. This shit I don't like. Girl's a spider. Then fell on the floor. You know how he is about that shit. Girl. I don't want to be reading. This motherfucker just pop up. Hold on 1 second, y'all. You ain't finna get me, bitch. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Girl, where's you at? Where the hell is you at? Damn. Now I gotta do this shit with the damn light on. I was all comfortable and stuff. Girl, where the hell is it at? The bitch was just right there, just popped up and said, "Hey, how you doing?" If I would've looked at my phone, girl, that motherfucker would've got me. Okay, fuck it. Anyway, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Shit. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Okay, now that we done got that out the way, let's get into Chapter 16, which is entitled Out It. Okay, now once again, you're not going to get a perfect read through, especially tonight, because that damn spider fell on the floor and I don't know where it is, girl, and I just don't want that motherfucker to come out and make another appearance while I'm reading, because I don't want to be spider phobic or arachnophobic right now, girl. Come on. Okay, the motherfucker was right on my pop filter, girl. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I tried to fling him off, because I'm trying not to kill spiders and stuff, because they part of nature and stuff. I be trying to let them live. But girl, y'all got me sound like a homophobe, girl. Go live over there. Go live over there. Don't live over near me. I'm screaming. Anyway, the chapter is called Out It, okay? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me cut this down something. Sometimes we can't hear you, Bubs. Okay, we'll try it this way. Chapter 16, Out It. Now this is in late May. They say time flies when you're having fun. I wonder if they would say the same when you are living a lie. I think time passes more slowly when you live every moment in your head, when paranoia saturates every look, every word in a conversation, every encounter you have with the individuals whom you are deceiving. It's like I am waiting to fully live until I can be honest again, even though this experiment has a momentum of its own now. The learning curve has finally passed, but it has not gotten any easier. I feel the weight of this necessary evil every day, but I also find peace. Oh, what's up, y'all? Happy Valentine's Day. What's up, Queen Amber, Queen Donna? What's up, King Ron? What's going on? Yes, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button, please. Even though my experience is different, I know that in some small way, I am finally beginning to understand the struggle unique to those living a closeted life. Every day, and with each new interaction with the gay men and lesbian women I spent so much time with, I am reassured that I can finally question my faith. But will I ever be able to reconcile my faith in God and the homosexual orientation? I turn off the water from the shower and dry myself vigorously, feeling energized and excited. We just won our first softball game, defeating one of the better teams in the league. I played catcher and was encouraged to have done well for the first time this season. My team is filled with athletes, and having me on the team is probably sometimes frustrating with them. I wipe my head and look into the mirror. The image reflected is not mine, but I do not feel like me. I'm sorry, the image reflected is mine, but I do not feel like me. I feel the growing pains and awkwardness of transition. I feel like a man without a country, a man without a religion, a man who does not know himself yet. It amazes me that I have made it 5 months. Even my boyfriend Sean is surprised. After some of the earlier close calls in the gay bars, he is relieved not to have to babysit me anymore when I go out. Instead, our time has become more quality and less instruction. What's up, Queen? Spicy, hey. Hope all is well. Yes, less instruction. While we are out, we spend more time getting to know each other and less time focusing on the nuances of body language and flirtation. I learned the language of the community quickly, in spite of myself, and I feel better for it. I am no longer a stranger to the gay community of Nashville. I am one of them, or as much as I can ever be without actually, being gay. I know names, stories, and even more satisfying, I have allowed others to get to know me. Where I once felt guarded, I am finally able to trust the people I meet. There is like an unwritten code in our humble neighborhood. Sean helped teach me that code, and now I feel like we are able to invest in our friendship and our relationship more than ever. I am brushing my teeth when the phone rings. I rinse and spit as quickly as possible. Hello? Tim? It's Mom. Andrew and Maureen know. They called and told me. Her voice is shaky. No, what exactly? I ask. My body begins to shake with panic and adrenaline. That you aren't really gay. That you're doing some kind of experiment. She knows? They know? What's up, Aaron? What's up? Bro, I'll let you up on another live, bro. I can't do something. Bro, I'm reading a book right now. I can't do it right now. I'm sorry. They know? All at once, in the blink of an eye, I feel exposed, naked, and vulnerable in front of the people I have misled. My first thought is that I need to talk to Andrew and explain, but all I can do is collapse into a nearby chair as tears filled my eyes. If he has secondhand information, he won't understand, why I have done this to him. It is a terrifying thought, the lid coming off of my experiment just shy of the halfway point. It is terrifying and devastating, My experiment isn't over. It feels like it has barely just begun. I am finally at the point where I am learning, where my feet are more than just wet. I am in the pool now, and my body has acclimated to the water. I do not feel shocked the way I imagined I would be if this ever happened. It is a different kind of guilt. I am not ashamed of what I am doing. I feel only an intense sadness for who I have hurt. My family is the most important thing to me, especially since my parents' divorce, and I feel cut off from them from the first time. Even my mom's voice is distant, as if she's on the other side of the world, only giving me half of her attention. I'm sorry, Mom. I cannot speak. My voice is cracking too much for her to understand me. You're free to talk to me whenever you need to. Tim, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm just trying to understand why you did this. Look, I will explain everything when we talk. Just don't say anything to anyone, and I'll call you later. I love you, she says. I hung up the phone and grabbed my journal from my backpack. The only way I can explain my situation is to show him, to help my brother understand that I had to do this. I want to show him the entry from January 1st, when I felt so horrible for deceiving him that I went outside and vomited. I need to show him that I did not haphazardly throw him under the bus. I need to heal this wound, or at least patch it up, and fast. You know that's not going to happen. Be realistic. My Pharisees is looking at me with a searing, almost venomous expression. He looks at me like I am an enemy, and I know I cannot avoid him. I dress as quickly as possible. Everything is a blur. Everything except the Pharisees. No, he is clear. A little too clear. His expression is the expression I hope not to see on my brother's face. I cannot avoid it or look away. This is your fault. You knew this would happen. Running off to brother's house with your little journal won't accomplish anything, and you know it. Well, I have to try. What kind of brother would I be if I didn't try to explain? The kind of brother who seems to care more for his little experiment than he does for his own flesh and blood. Well, that's not true. You've been with me this whole time, seen what I've seen, and you can't tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. The path you're on was always your choice from the beginning. Just like every gay man and woman alive has chosen theirs. Don't feed me that bullshit. You were never programmed. You just like feeling right. You reveled in the absolutes. It was your pride, not the church, that led to all of this. Both influenced me. Does that make you happy to hear? I never said I was to blame for how I apply the teachings of my church. But know this, what I'm doing now is the first truly good thing I've done in my life, and I refuse to quit. The first truly good thing you've done in your life? You are trying to undermine the Bible and what you know is truth. How is that good? I don't know it's the truth. What have I done Lord, Andrew, back up. First it was Spider's Nice Andrew, girl. Would I have done this if I did? Things are not as plain and simple as I once thought. And eventually, my brother will understand that too. He's hurt, but he's a rational guy. If I can show him why I had to do this, he'll listen. Tim, you lied to him. You betrayed his trust. Don't take my word for it. Take his. I can feel my body shaking. The adrenaline leaves a bitter taste in my mouth as it courses through my blood and brain like liquid speed. The weather outside is sunny, but I see it through a curtain of tears. What if the Pharisees is right? What if my brother disowns me? My world is flooding, and I am losing the only thing I thought I had control. But maybe that was just another lie. Maybe that is why I feel the way I do right now. You are living heresy, and you're the one who will have to deal with the consequences of it. I feel no pity for you. It is easier to love those who believe the same as us more than those we disagree with. If I am damned for asking questions and testing what old white men have taught me all my life, then so be it. Oh, come on. He said, old white men, come on. Late February. It was a dinner party like any other, but I had gotten too confident in being known as Andrew's gay brother, and I was not on guard the way I should have been. Everyone at the party had just finished what was this, Rackus Girl? I'm gonna say Ratchet Girl, Ratchet game of catchphrase, and I had been pleasantly surprised when, on my brother's turn, his clue for the table was opposite of Tim. Straight! Everyone shouted in unison. I looked around the table and felt accepted. It was the first time I did not feel like an outsider around my family and their friends. After several after several drinks on a empty stomach, I stood outside my brother's home, smoking with my brother's good friend. So, when did you know you were gay? He asked. For a while, I guess, I said vaguely. You know, your brother's doing his best to remember who you are and not make it a big deal. Well, yeah, I know it's probably tough on him. I knew it was probably a great deal more than tough. I mean, after all, there is no room in heaven for homosexuals, at least in our brand of Christianity. Excuse me. But Tim, you've always loved women so much, or at least acted that way. Don't you miss boobs? He laughed. Well, yes, I do, I answered without thinking. Wait, what? Oh, shit. I belched and tossed my cigarette butt into the yard. Tim, what's going on? Follow me. I took him to the backyard and swore him to secrecy, stumbling over my words and emotions the entire time. He successfully kept my secret for 3 months, which was 2 months and 3 weeks longer than Josh and Sean thought he would be able to keep it. The drive to my brother's house is a blur. The streets bleed together, and the entire time I try to decide what I am going to say and how I will say it. If things had gone according to plan, I would not be experiencing this for another 7 months. I am not prepared for this now. I had hoped to have more to show for my experiment by, the time I came out as straight. I am afraid of losing my family, even more so than when I told them I am gay. I wonder if this fear is more characteristic of what my gay friends have talked about when telling their coming out stories. More than anything, I am afraid that this journey is going to end because I slipped and told someone I should not have. The thought scares the hell out of me. I do not want my secret to get out. I want to keep learning and experiencing the things that only the label of gay can ever teach me. I want to experience and live more of this journey as I have finally become acclimated to my new life. I am not ready to be straight Tim again. I like gay Tim. I like his friends, and I like that he is trying to have an open mind. I like me so much more than I did before. And what would be accomplished having just gotten past the learning curve? I finally feel the weight of what I am doing, finally understand how essential this is, not just for the sake of experiencing something unique, but because I finally realize that I can and should be better. I can love more. I can change. I can be authentic in my faith for the first time by loving my neighbor as myself. This will just have to be part of the story. I resolve. Another chapter in a series of uncomfortable chapters where nothing is as it should be. I take a few deep breaths and the panic abates from each exhalation. I think of my new friends, the people whom I finally understand are not the enemy of me or of God. I park my car on the street in front of Andrew's house, but I cannot find the courage to get out. Help me, Lord. I do not know what to say. You can't say anything. You've messed up too badly this time. The fact that you believe in too badlies make me pity you. See, this is the push that I need. I get out of the beaten up Honda and walk to the backyard. As expected, I find my brother, his wife, and the friend who told them sitting on the back patio. The mood is incredibly tense, and rightly so. They have just found me out. Can they comprehend what I have done? Why I have done what I've done? Is it real now, this moment of this bleak conversation? For the first time, I feel the potential for rejection that might cause me irrevocable damage. But thinking about me is selfish. I should be asking instead if I have caused Andrew irrevocable damage. Not by coming out, but because I have spent 5 months lying to him. What are you doing here? Andrew says, beating his wife to the punch. I really need to talk to you, to explain. Explain what? You lied to us. And for what? My sister-in-law says. She has a much sharper tone than Andrew. This is what I need to explain. I had to do this. I am breathless and overwhelmed. Look, this isn't a good time, Tim. We'll talk in a few days. Andrew's calm worries me. Why can't we talk now? Because it's not a good time for us. We are with our friends, so just calm down and leave. His tone is unwavering. Can we just talk for a few minutes? I plead with him. No, Tim. We don't want to talk to you. Just leave. Andrew deferred to his wife's remark and gives me a look. It is a vastly different look than the one I saw on his face that cold morning 5 months ago. Sunday morning. We'll talk next Sunday morning, he says. For whatever it's worth, I'm sorry I put you through this. I will do my best to explain when we talk. Sunday, he says. Sunday. I walk away feeling defeated, drained. I feel alone, truly alone. I get into my Honda and turn the key. I need a drink. Able to patch it up? You really are a bastard. Remember what the Bible says about liars. Care for a reminder? Another time. Sunday finally comes. I have been dreading the talk with Andrew. I have no way of knowing how he will respond, if the last week has affected his feelings toward me. I spent most of the night writing down what I want to tell him on 3x5 note cards, but the last time I rehearsed a speech to give to my brother, I didn't even end up saying a word of it. I paced back and forth across the driveway behind my dad's house. Thankfully, it is not too hot outside. Nashville summers begin mid-spring. Today, the weather is temperate and clear, but I feel hidden under a dark and ominous cloud. When my cell phone rings, my brother's picture appears on my screen. I remember when we took that picture. It was a better time for Andrew and me, a time when all of this would have seemed impossible. I answered the call, and my brother says hello. After making small talk, my brother gets to the point. Why did you lie to us? I had to understand for myself what it felt like to come out. I had to feel the apprehension and fear that people face every day when they come out. It may not make sense, but understanding that was essential to this whole thing. My voice is shaking, and my body stutters and quakes as I talk. It shatters my confidence. Tim, you threw me under the bus, he says, his tone sharper than before. I've been throwing people under the bus for years. People who did nothing to me except believe differently. Oh, don't get all self-righteous on me. Look, I know you probably won't understand this right now, but this is the first time in my life I'm not being self-righteous. I have been a bully and a bigot. What we were taught about these people wasn't right. Look, don't give me that. We aren't talking about gay here. We are talking about you lying to me. I never thought you would do that, and I trusted you. It isn't difficult to see where this conversation is headed, and I brace myself for the crash landing. I love you, brother, I say, but I had to do this. And I don't regret what I've done. Nope, not for a second. Because it is the first time I've truly understood the path I was headed down. I was wrong all along. I didn't know how else to explain it. Listen, Tim. You are my little brother, and I love you. But you have to understand that I'm not just your brother anymore. I am a husband, and your actions have hurt my wife. He let the words sink in. We need to step back from this whole thing, and from you for a while. Maybe when you are all done with your year, we can sit down and work things out. I understand. I really do. It sucks, but I get it, I say, choking back emotion. I know you do, Tim. I know you would. I love you, man, I say. I love you too, he says. And then we are disconnected from the call, but more so from each other. My older brother, my blood, has removed himself from my life. Maybe it was naivety, but I never thought it would come to this. At least I hoped it wouldn't. I sit in the middle of the driveway, unable to stand. I allow myself to grieve. I wonder if my pain is anything remotely akin to the pain my gay and lesbian friends felt when they were rejected by their family members. Sure, my brother emphasized my choice to lie to him, and mine was a choice. But in so many other stories I've heard, parents reacted to the choice to be gay. In either case, the sadness and crushing isolation of this moment overwhelms me. Sean finds me hours later in the corner of Tribe, 4 beers in. I'm gonna get to your question in a second, Ryan. And what's up, King Rico? What's going on? He sits next to me on the couch and puts his arms around me. My head on his shoulder feels right and comfortable. It is not something I would have done with any man before all of this, but I feel utterly vulnerable and know that with Sean, I am in a safe place. I can fall apart in his arms and trust that his only intention will be to comfort me. He is that type of saint, a hero to me. I begin to cry. No one else is around, so I feel safe to talk. What happened? I'm sorry, he had a deep voice, sorry. Well, what happened? How did they find out? He asked in a soothing voice. Exactly how we thought it would happen. My brother's friend. Tim, you aren't perfect. Yes, and you slipped. But this project isn't over. The whole thing is over now, I say. I lost my brother and my mission. Why would you say that? Why would it be over? Because my family knows. You barely see your family, he says. He says, rubbing my back. But they'll tell people. Tim, your project isn't over. It's only just begun. You may not have had the same relationship to your brother or your mom that you did before this, but you can't stop what you're doing. You have to keep going. You have to keep going for me. His eyes express something I have not seen before. We don't need you to rescue us. We need you to rescue yourself so you can be the example. An example? I don't feel like I could ever be an example. I sound pathetic. You already are. I believe in you, but you need to believe in yourself too. I'll try, I meekly whisper. I look across the main room to the bar and see Will wiping down the counter. He is looking at me and smiles as we make eye contact. I feel urgently thankful that he is a part of my life again and that Sean is here to comfort me. You have a kind heart, but you need to stop beating yourself up. Take advantage of this time while you have it and keep searching. But I lied to them, I say. And I lied to my family about being straight all those years, he says. But that's different. That was your process. Maybe, but this is your process. It's unique and messy, but it was meant to be. I know God led you to this. I've always felt your conviction was proof of that. He hesitates before continuing. I love you, Tim. I love you too, Sean. I do, but I also feel guilty, knowing that I cannot love Sean the way he needs to be loved, the way he deserves to be loved. I feel something else in his words. Does he love me, or is he falling in love with me? I dismiss the thought as soon as I think of it. That is the last thing I want to happen right now. The 2 seasons have passed me by, and I know I am past my homophobia, past my irrational fear of gay men. That alone is a small miracle. To be held by Sean in a gay bar, and to love him as much as I do, this is evidence enough for me. But I know I have to go deeper, despite the consequences. I have a little over 6 months left, and so much yet to discover. Sean tries to get me, Lord. Sean tries to get my mind off my brother. Sean tries to get my mind off my brother. He tells me stories. We dance, and some of the other guys, he tells jokes with, and when I smile, his face lights up. He knows I am in pain, and I know he is in pain because of my pain. How did I get so lucky as to find someone like Sean to spend time with? Someone so intensely empathetic and encouraging. I don't know what I would do without Sean, but my thoughts stray back to my brother. I don't know what I would do without him in my life either. I just hope it doesn't come to that. And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of chapter 16, which is called Out It. Okay, I'm gonna get my little synopsis. I'm gonna answer Ron's question. Hopefully you're still in the chat, Ron. And then we're gonna take a little break before we get into chapter 17. Jesus in drag, not Jesus in the gay club. Not Jesus over there talking about yes, bitch, yes. What? But it's very interesting because once again in this chapter, Tim Ass has been doing this experiment for 6 months now. Excuse me, y'all. I'm 4 and 8 and shit. I'm burping and stuff. Excuse me. 6 months. He's no longer afraid of gay men. He's even had some experiences that a lot of people who have a stereotypical viewpoint of gay people would be like, see, I told you, see. But I like how he was able to face those fears and himself. And now he's in a good place now. You know, he's enjoying his gay life, this new life of just connecting with people and operating in love. And ain't nowhere Tim had to suck no dick or get fucked or nothing. He was just showing up just in the label of gay, but just understanding that love is there. And of course, his ass got drunk one night, and that's why I don't drink like that. Cause once you start drinking, baby, that is truth serum. What they say, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart, or something. A drunk person speaks a sober mind. And he ended up slipping, saying that, you know, I like me some titties every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Fucking up his experiment that he worked so hard to kind of keep on track, and now he feels that's going to fall apart, and he has lost his brother. And it's kind of crazy because once again he's able to understand, even though the circumstances are unique and different, him being disowned by his brother because he's pretending to be gay when he really is straight. It's a parallel, or on the other side of the spectrum of sexuality. LGBT people are experiencing that same low vibrational energy of fear through the expression of separating themselves or exiling that family member. I mean, you know, from parents, from friends, from church, from society. So it's just crazy how he was able to experience those things. And here it is. 6 months ago, he would not be in a gay bar with some black man with his head on his shoulder, on his chesticles and stuff, being held, talking about I love you. But look at how he was able to face all that fear. So again, shout out to Tim. And that's why I do this. That's why I read this book, even though it be all over the place and my ass be read like William Shatner sometimes, girl. It'd be like you taking a breath in the middle of a sentence, girl. Bitch, I gotta breathe, girl. Okay, I be trying to slow down with my talking, because I know I can talk fast. I surprise my mouth will be on fire. And I gotta learn to enunciate better too, so it gives me a chance. But to do this read through, because once again, there's so much evidence. There's so much evidence, proof, receipts of LGBT people's plight and how people have played in their face for so long and don't even know why the hell they playing it. Here it is. Tim is doing the one thing that so many people who call themselves Christians, who call themselves humanists and love human beings, can't even operate in that. We'll talk about it, but we can't walk it out because we afraid. And the only person that can do it is Jesus. No, Jesus said, I can be the first, but I'm not trying to be the only. I'll be the first, but I'm not trying to be the only. Ron says, shout out to Ron, not to get too far off track, but do you believe black men find it easier to come out as bisexual opposed to come out as gay as it is because it gives their family hopes for them to be with the woman? In my opinion, and I'm going to speak ignorantly because I'm not bisexual, but in a sense, I can understand that, and I do feel that for some gay men, it's like an easier transition for them because it's like they're not really prepared to deal with, once again, like what Tim is dealing with, like the actual raw reality that LGBT people have to face in this world, and especially in America. So it's kind of like I'm not jumping all the way in the gay pool, but I got my feet in the pool. I'm getting my feet wet. For example, Trey Melvin. I remember Trey Melvin with his fine, deep voice, green-eyed, big booty ass. Okay? He had a video a long time ago talking about, the top 10 things that you don't do to me during sex. And one of them was like, whatever you do, don't never put your finger near my ass or nothing like that. I look, you want to ask him, has that changed? Because I feel like it has, but it's not my business. But he came out, I think, as bisexual, and then came out as gay. So it could be just an easier way for them to come out. But I just feel like if we talk about these LGBT issues and really deal with the objective facts and also deal with guilt and shame from those who have opposed us because of their own personal guilt and shame, we wouldn't have to worry about people doing that type of, inching towards or inching closer and closer type of thing. People can just be. People can just be. What's up, low key fur? What's going on? Yes. Happy Valentine's Day. Baby, I ate too much. I had some nachos. Baby, when I tell you the munchies kicked in, I was like, ooh, I'm so glad I'm a top. Because if I was a bottom, baby, on Valentine's Day, after them nachos I ate, girl, I'll be outed too. Kicked out of the house from the tribe, girl. Be outed on Instagram, YouTube, and shit. TTB exclusive in this bitch, girl. BubzDaGawd paints his bed brown. Girl, get out of here. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take a little quick break because I need to drink some water because my mouth getting a little dry. Y'all know when y'all smoke weed, bitch, water is your friend. Okay? I'm just saying. And we'll be back for chapter 17, Jesus in Drag, from the book The Cross in the Closet. I'll see y'all in a second. One moment.
Sexual. Some people are straight, and some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. 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 Some prefer the top, and some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Sexual. We're all just sexual. Sexual. Yeah. Hey, we're not in the 60s, but yet we're talking about the same things. So why are we having these same discussions? It's so interesting that you find it fascinating. Who I'm sleeping with and what I'm doing. Why do we all need these labels? Your character is all that matters to me. You shouldn't let ideology invade us. Make you stop loving family and friends. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people are gay. Ooh, yeah. Maybe I'm just sexual. 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 Some prefer the top, and some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Sexual. Just sexual. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people are gay. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm just sexual. Baby, I'm just sexual. Sexual. Ooh, yeah. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the bottom. Some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Sexual. But we're all just sexual. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why do we all need these labels? Is he gay or straight or somewhere in between? Yeah. Don't let ideology invade us. Make you treat your brother or your sister differently. Yeah. Some people are straight. Some people are straight. Some people are gay. Some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. Maybe I'm just sexual. Sexual. Just sexual. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the bottom. Some prefer the bottom. Just sexual.
All right, y'all. All right. Thank you. The name of the song is called Sexual by B Slade, baby. When I tell y'all B Slade is the GOAT, before we get to this chapter, I kind of want to just, bitch, every time I hear B Slade's music, it just inspires me so much because that to me is an individual who is operating in their truth in such a way, and they inspired me in so many ways, not just musically, but just in me learning how to strengthen my faith even more. Before I became BubzDaGawd and I was who I was before, there was a point in time where I was struggling with being honest with my sexuality, being in church, in a Baptist church, my father a deacon. We was one of those families at the church, you know what I'm saying? We was the, oh my God, your kids are just so wonderful and just well behaved and all this other type of shit. Just naturally good people. We weren't perfect, but good people from a strong family unit. There was times where I was struggling with my sexuality. Like how am I going to go forth? Because I came out at 18, so around like 16, yeah, like 16, 17, around that time, I was on YouTube, and that's when YouTube was kind of becoming popular. And there were two people who really inspired me as far as of like, okay, Bubs, go study to show yourself approved. Like, go look at it for yourself. Go test it for yourself. Open your mind, like, to actually do the one thing that Christ asked me to do, which was by the renewing of my mind. Because I was saying to myself, okay, I'm about to graduate high school, all this type of stuff. Am I going to continue the rest of my life like this? What is that going to look like? What if I do get married and have kids, which I don't know how the hell that's going to happen. I'm going to have to pop in Extends or get some gas station, horny goat weed or something. Or something. You know what I'm saying? But, and y'all, all these noises in the background, that's my chair. I got this old squeaky ass computer chair, so I'm not farting, okay? I'm not that trifling. I fart off mic. But it was two people. First, it was a woman by the name of Sarkaz, who is a open lesbian woman who spoke a lot about her spiritual experiences, and I think I've shared one of her experiences before. And I need to reach out to her because I am subscribed to her, but I don't know if she remember who I am because my whole persona is different. It's just different. So I'll probably reach out to her next, and I would like to have her on the platform just to have a conversation with her. And she smoke weed too. Oh yes, bitch, we about to sit up here and talk hours, superpower, all that. Okay, and of course the second one was B Slade, who was Tone before B Slade, the gospel artist Tone. And there was a segment that he did with Lexi TV where Lexi, and shout out to her, she just straight up asked, like, nigga, some people think you gay, girl, what's the tea? Or that you been with men, girl, what's the tea? Like, he was like, yeah, I did. And that was a time where his whole life, his whole gospel life that was controlled by the people were taken away from him. Or shall I say, that was a time when Tone decided to let go of Tone. That's when he had his transformative moment by renewing his mind, which means that all old things are passing away. You cannot pour new, fresh wine into an old wineskin. That wineskin is going to bust. It's going to bust. In order to have new wine, you need a new wineskin. You need something new in order to keep that. And both of them kind of made me be like, okay, wait a minute. Well, let me go look for myself. Let me go do that. And that's what they don't want you to do. Because a lot of times when people out here are discriminating, they're discriminating from their own prejudices and their own insecurities about themselves. And if they see you making it, when they're the ones who have the privilege, when they're the one that has the resources, when they're the ones that have, fuck lacing up your boots, they boots already tied the hell up and they already standing up and running. But when they see people who the Bible says are evil and demonic actually rising up, not in the way that they're believing through their lens, but what it actually is, just people being people. And religion has taught them that they're the only ones, nobody else but us. No, it's all of us. Because if what you were saying was absolutely true and there was true, 100% truth over there, everybody would be over there. But the truth is in us, and that's what Christ came to teach us. Christ is like the teacher. We're like, bitch, I want you to go off after you done graduated and go live your life, and you can come back to me and we can talk and all that stuff, but now to see you grow, the potential in you, and that same potential was in all of us. Hell, even in Tim, in this book, he shared at the beginning of this book just where he was and how ignorant he was. He didn't know. He didn't feel like he had to take the time out. Like, why should I go research? Why should I go find this out? Why should I do this? When I could just label you like everybody else. Everybody else did the work, so I guess I can just follow them. No, you still need to do your part. And this book proved that Tim did his part. And it's so crazy because Christ asked all of us to do this. But yeah, shout out to Tone. I want to work with that nigga one day, no shade. Like I said, I have film ideas and stuff. Sorry, y'all, excuse me, drinking water. Big ass jugs of water. And one thing that I'm trying to do now is this year is I'm going to buy me a new keyboard. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know the universe is going to get me one. It ain't got to be no expensive ass one yet, because I do want like a Kurek or a Yamaha or some sort of keyboard, performance keyboard. But I want to teach myself how to play the piano and to be creative in music, because I know I have an ear. My voice is like slick, low key there, but it's not. It needs some help. It needs a lot of nurturing, a lot of love, a lot of TLC, but it definitely has potential. And like, I want to do my own music, create my own stuff. He'll even create my own soundtracks and my own scores to my own stuff. I low-key do it already in my reviews for those of you who've been following me for a while, especially when I was doing like, I think it was season 3 of the Come Up New York, baby. I was making remixes and stuff, baby. Like, I was in my creative bag. And Tone's definitely in his. I remember one time I was on his live and he made a whole song, the piano, the vocals, and everything, the harmonies, the melody, all that shit in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. What? That's some boss ass shit, and I'm trying to tap into that, okay? But anyway, let me shut up. Let's get into. Oh, in 10 more minutes, I gotta wish somebody a happy birthday. Hope I remember that. Let's get into chapter 17, girl. Jesus is in drag, girl. Jesus is chasing LA, girl. Jesus is over there with goddamn, what's her name? Hershey Liqueur and shit. And William the Flabbiest and shit, girl, over there with them. Girl, don't tell me Jesus over there in Zeus Network, girl. My God, today. Anyway. Part 3, the New Testament, girl. We in the New Testament, not the old shit, the New Testament, girl. Chapter 17, Jesus in drag. Okay? You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. And that's a quote by Anne Lamott. Girl, I might have to put that in a quote, because that was like, girl. Read that again. You can safely assume you created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. Ooh, here we go. That was a read. In the short time I have worked at Revive, the cafe is living up to its name. I feel more alive, working and talking with people every day. It is freeing. It is convenient. Working as a barista suits me. And I love making coffee in a cafe that has such a great vibe. It is almost a dream, or at least it feels like it. I am fully trained now, and I was even sent to train with a professional barista named it's EJ, I'm saying L, named EJ at a cafe in East Nashville. At a cafe in East Nashville, excuse me. He taught me how to make latte art, hearts and spirals. Inadvertently, I even learned how to draw the male anatomy. Okay? Sexed steam. Steam is sex. 2%. Okay? It makes the regulars smile. The other positive side of working at a gay cafe attached to a gay bookstore is that I get discounts on everything. I even get free movie rentals, all of which have gay themes, obviously. Last night, I watched a movie called Latter Days. It was about a Mormon missionary that moves next door to a player. They fall in love, and there is this line where the missionary is talking to a lady on the bench. He tells her that when he used to read the Sunday comics as a kid, he he would put his nose up to them so he could only see thousands of tiny dots. None of it made sense, he says, until he pulled the paper back from his face and he would see the whole story. And the story was beautiful and funny and good. He tells the woman on the bench that life is like the comics. It is a mass of dots that don't seem to make sense, but he likes to think that God looks at us from above and everything makes sense. From this close, we can expect everything to make sense, you know. The spiritual insight in his words caught me off guard. But then again, things are catching me off guard every day. The credits roll, and I was sad. I want to share the movie with some of my Christian friends, but they will probably dismiss it out of hand because homosexuals cannot be Christians. Too bad for them. The movie was great. I returned the movie and clocked in for my shift, and the hours passed in conversation and coffee grounds. I'm going to smoke, if that's okay with you, I say to my supervisor, Brent. Sure, take your lunch, Brent says, staring at the computer screen in front of me. Ooh, bitch, I love you, I say, walking to the door. He smiles. Bitch, I love you, he says, still fixated on the computer screen. I walk outside. The cool spring air is refreshing, and I light my cigarette, leaning against the patio's railing. It is nice having a job. In this economy, it is something no one takes for granted. I exhale the smoke and look around, shifting the clothes from my right hand to my left. The sunset is beautiful, a tapestry of orange and red, and from my vantage point, the view is especially vivid. Cars pass, stirring the leaves and debris of the gutter, and I pull out my phone and text Sean to ask him how his day is going. I have lived with this label of gay for almost 6 months, but am still plagued by questions. I have realized that this whole thing is really just a process, just seeing people for who they are instead of as labels. There is so much more to a person. Take Brent, for example. He is not particularly spiritual, but he told me today that he would love to go back to school for theology. Theology? Like, really? Most Christians don't even like studying theology, unless they are trying to justify their own point of view. Oh, baby, got me sound like a bloodhound. Read that again. Most Christians, I'm going to say some, I'm going to give them some grace. Some Christians don't even like studying theology unless they are trying to justify their own point of view. Let me take a picture of that. That's going on my Instagram. No shade. I hear music next door. It is karaoke night at the LGBTQ plus community center, and I am curious if gay karaoke is any different from the karaoke I go to every week. Well, maybe not much is different. Maybe just the song choices are different. One might expect to hear more pop and techno at a gay karaoke night than at the average bar. Another song starts, replacing the Britney Spears song before it, and I recognize it. I can't make out the words, and I cannot put my finger on what the song is. The words are muffled by 2 sets of doors separating me from the other space. But that song sounds so familiar. I exhale and smoke. Exhale the smoke. Bitch, it's my weed talking, girl. Exhale the smoke. You better inhale it again twice for you exhale. I exhale the smoke and try to figure out the name of the song playing. It is loud, upbeat, and dramatic. I have heard that song a million times. I just don't know what it is. I look at the Pharisees, and his face betrays worry. Don't go in there. It's just karaoke night, okay? Stay here. But I have to. I am drawn like a moth to a flame, like like a moth to a flame burned by the fire, and I am desperately searching my memory for the name of that song. Nothing is worse than not being able to remember the name of a movie or a song you know. It is like my brain has just been struck by an intense, albeit temporary, bout of Alzheimer's. I peek inside the cafe. A regular is sipping his coffee and reading the newspaper. Brent's face is still angled down at the computer monitor. I am not needed. It is my lunch break, after all, so I should feel bad about leaving work to go next door for a few minutes. I open the door to the community center. The music gets louder and louder, but the words are still muffled. Not remembering is like having an unreachable itch. Ooh, Lord, or like not remembering it is like me trying to reach for something on the top shelf and I don't have my ladder or my step stool with me. I look back and see the Pharisees reluctantly following me inside. He does not look happy, but then again, he rarely looks happy. I swing the door open and step into the large meeting room. About 30 people are gathered, all of them singing along with the woman on stage. No, not a woman. A man dressed as a woman. He looks like a young Barbara Bush. Oh, girl, a young Barbara Bush. Let me see what Barbara Bush looked like as a young person. Hold on. I don't want to see it. Barbara Bush. Air it out. Y'all need to look up this thing called, hold on. Barbara Bush. Younger years. Called Mad TV. They had this thing called the Vagina Monologues. I need to watch it. That shit funny. Barbara Bush when she was younger. Damn. No shade. She looked like T.S. Barbara. That's a cis woman looking T.S. What the fuck? Hold on, I wish somebody had birthday. Hold on. Where's it at? Hold on. I have to do this. Hold on. Happy birthday, King. I hope you enjoy it well. Okay. Sorry about that. Barbara Bush, girl. Barbara Bush look hit. Looking like a young Barbara Bush, wearing a black skirt and blouse, an earthy pink suit jacket adorned with a brooch that looks like a shiny leaf, and matching pink heels. Girl, what the you got on? His wig is short but feminine, and he is wearing a necklace that looks like a string of fake gold pearls, not the gaze clocking the costume jewelry. His eyes are closed. The crowd is engrossed. I take a few steps further into the room. The crowd is not acting like a typical karaoke crowd. Their hands lift into the air and their eyes are closed. They are focused, almost trance-like, on the words coming out of their mouths, and all of them seem to know the lyrics to the song. It is magic. They launch into the chorus. Goosebumps spread over my body, and I am engulfed by shock. I know this song. I have known it since I was a kid. I have not heard it in years, but I remember it as clearly as ever. The chorus begins, and a part of my world claps. It's my song, bitch. Our God is an awesome God, he reigns. Hey, from heaven above we're the wares. Dumb power and love, our God is an awesome God. My jaws feel disconnected from my face. It hangs open as if fixed that way. I am in absolute awe. I cannot move, I cannot think, I cannot do anything but stare. Stare at the crowd of strangers gathered for a normal karaoke night, but frozen in a moment of intense worship. The drag queen on stage repeats the chorus 3 times before starting the next verse. And all the while, a grand epiphany ripples like electricity through every inch of my body. All of my life, I had to fight. But all of my life, I have been taught that gays cannot, worship God, cannot know God, cannot love God. And I believed it. I believed it so absolutely that I doubted every word I heard this year from Samantha and Matthew, Mel, even Sean. I sat silently, listening to them, but judging them as if I knew something they could never know. And now this. My pride and my paradigm crumble at the feet of a man dressed like a young Barbara Bush, singing, "Our God is an awesome God." A man has noticed me. He sees the shock on my face and walks over to shake my hand and introduce himself, but I can't give him my attention. The song ends and another one begins. Parts of me want to hear Britney Spears. Parts of me want to hear Cher. Those parts of me desperately want that last song to be a fluke, a funny coincidence, so my beliefs don't have to change. Oh, baby, he is going through it, okay? Again, my spinning thoughts are brought to a standstill as the crowd begins to sing, "Here I am to worship," my favorite praise song to sing in church. But this is not church. This is a community center in the heart of Nashville's neighborhood. This is unreal. You know what? I am a lazy bastard, really. And I wonder how I will ever process this moment. I collect myself enough to nudge the man next to me. "Does this happen often?" I ask him. He seems intrigued by my response to the music. "Yeah, actually. Most of us go to church together, so no one really minds when Bill starts in with the Jesus music." I feel the Pharisees next to me, and I see his mouth unhinged, like mine. He looks as if he is in pain, and I put my arm on his shoulder. The man next to me smiles, and I feel like God is smiling at me. I am a witness to something that defies everything I held to be truth. I am humbled. Not just humbled. I feel crushed and broken, utterly foolish for insisting this was not possible. The crowd launches into the chorus, and the drag queen on stage really gets into it. He sings the way I sing at church. I know where his heart is. I know he is being real. And I can no longer question him, discredit him, or hate him. He is my opposite, but now we are the same. My heart softens knowing the words that are coming next. I sing with them this time, or I at least try. I mouth the words, half singing, half speaking them under my breath, still too surprised to lift my voice above a whisper, but no one notices. We are all lost in the intensity of the moment. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. No, my God. I don't like that last one. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. 30 minutes pass like 1 minute or 1,000 minutes. And for those 30 minutes, I sing praise song after praise song after praise song. I hear as many praise songs as I would on Sunday mornings at church, and I feel the same spirit too. I feel a burden lift and a question answered. A Britney Spears song comes on at last, and I walk out of the community center. I have gone a few minutes over my half-hour break, I look inside and see Brent still staring at the computer screen. Our one regular is left, so I know there is no rush. I light up another cigarette and sit. The Pharisee sits next to me, finally silent. He cannot say anything. He saw what I have seen. I can hear his breath sink deep inside his chest like a stone in water. Or maybe those breaths are my own. I'm sorry, y'all. I be sitting Indian style in my chair, so I have to switch my leg around sometimes. Excuse me. I have been taught that I need to be Jesus to people I meet. That I need to live the love and the faith and the commitment of my God so that others can see him too. If it is true that we can be Jesus to each other, then I will never see Jesus the same way again. Tonight, I saw Jesus in drag, and now I feel incapable of hate. I know these feelings will lessen and diminish as time passes, that my freedom from hatred is similar to my 3-week freedom from masturbation after watching The Passion of the Christ, but I hope it is not temporary. I hope I will remember these goosebumps and this shock, and I hope I remember how beautiful it is to live inside this tension. My clove is almost burnt away, an inch of thick ash still clinging to the filter, like my ideologies, cling to my heart. I toss the clove into the can by the door. I toss the clove and I toss my ideologies with it. I was wrong. I step into the coffee shop, back to work, but I feel different. Somehow, my year in the closet just got a little bit easier. And all because I saw Jesus' ass up in some drag. And y'all, that is the end of chapter 17, entitled Jesus in Drag. Okay? Again, another instance where energy, where love, where truth resides as well, also, comma. Now here it is. Tim was like, okay, I done got my ass whooped all type of ways. I'm going through so much humanitarian shit, girl, and I don't know how much more of this I can take. The devil was working through my goddamn tongue and shit when I was drunk and spilled my shit out so that I can have my family lose. But really, that was God's source universe way of saying, oh, you really trying to walk this walk? When Christ said, girl, pick up your cross and follow me, what did you think was the T was? What you thought the T was going to be? So he already lost his brother, at least for right now, because they upset, they mad, rightfully so. But here it is now, another blow to his damn ego. Like he thinks this, like, okay, I'm at a place now, I'm good, I know now. It be more shit and more shit and more shit to be like, do you want to be better? Like, if you gonna do this, are you really gonna do this? And here it is, next door to him, at his job. He heard music that was familiar to him. But curiosity got to him. And the Pharisees was like, the curiosity killed the cat. Don't take your ass over there. The Pharisees was like, no, don't go there. Because the Pharisees within him knew what was up. But the God in him said, just like I spoke earlier about, seeing Tone and Sarkast share their stories and how it resonated with me, to go ahead and see for yourself. A lot of people are afraid to see for themselves. Because if I'm wrong and I've built my identity on this, and it's an identity that is favorable, an identity that is popular, an identity that makes me safe, if that is challenged, then who am I really? And so many people work so hard to define themselves, but are they really defining themselves through their own voice, their own energy, their own love that's coming from them, the God within them? Or are they just affirming the God outside of them that's everywhere else except for inside? So he goes into the damn community center, girl, Not even a church, but a community center. And here it is, a bunch of homosexuals, a bunch of drag queens, watermelon, bubblegum, yum, yum, mouth, lip syncing for your life ass peoples. And here it is, Barbara Bush said, girl, the gays need Jesus too. And just bust out in damn worship songs and how everybody still worships. And I'm going to tell you like this, and I think I've shared this before. There's been a few times, but there's really just one time in particular that really stands out to me. When the Woodward Bar and Grill, which is the gay ratchet bar that everybody talk about, but it's really a good bar. It's a tight-knit gay family there. But I remember I had went during one of their slower nights because my friend wanted me to go out with him, and I'm like, of course, yeah, I haven't been out in a minute, let's go. And we was, in the back, we got our drinks and stuff, so, it's on a slow night, so it's not a lot of people there, which is good. I like it when it's small crowds. I don't really like big ass crowds, but I'm a small crowd, and we were just sitting there, smoking, listening to music. I people watch. I'm just the dude that just smoke, and I might sip on my drink and sit there and look good and shit and all that type of stuff. But this drag queen came out, and she started performing what is it? It Is Necessary by Fantasia. And baby, when I tell you everybody, even me, and I don't even subscribe to organized religion, but everybody in that club, baby, was going in, baby. I had to fight back tears, because me, I'm a cry now. I'm a cry in the car, outside the car, girl. I'm a cry, because I understand the spiritual significance and how powerful it is, and what power is in tears. But baby, they was going in, and you can't tell me that God was in that room. Yeah, they was gonna twerk afterwards. Yeah, they was gonna do bumps in the bathroom afterwards. Yeah, somebody gonna get their dick sucked before the end of the night afterwards. But they still included God still, because God is in everything. Just like how there are people who be in church and they go ahead and do bumps afterwards, and suck dick afterwards, and lie afterwards, and discriminate afterwards, girl. But God still loves you as well. And he was completely baffled, because in his mind, he was taught that gay people are not human. They're deviants. They're spawns of Satan. They're coming in the name and the likeness of their creator, girl, which is to steal, kill, and destroy. There is no God in them. Meanwhile, here it is, both Tim and his Pharisees, with their jaws unhinged like a python, or a bitch who's about to give a real good, nasty, old time religion blowjob, girl. No hands. Got a timer, knock your ass out in less than a minute. Jaws dropped like The Mask, girl, in awe. Because it's like, how can you deal with this? How do you now explain this? Where are you gonna see Satan giving God praise, girl? On his own accord. Y'all saying these people are evil and satanic, girl, but they in there praising God with Barbara Bush. How more goddamn conservative do you want? How much more you do? They in there with that old Fossilette, girl. Back from the dead, girl. To sing one more time. And now he has to sit with that. And it kind of goes back to what, once again, LGBT people and other oppressed groups of people, but for context of this live, LGBT people have been proving to heterosexual people for the longest time. There are people that are speaking out against LGBT people from a damn book that they can't even apply to their own life. They haven't even made it make sense to them in their own life. They don't even know who they are, and they haven't even read the whole book, because if you read into the book and get to the most important part to me, which is the part of Christ, everybody trying to be in Revelations and trying to prepare and trying to figure shit out. When Christ said, girl, y'all want me to come back after all the shit I did for y'all and y'all still struggling, and you want me to come back to help you again? He said, look, when I was in the damn garden, I was crying blood and shit. When I was crying blood, that was my way of saying, God, I don't want to come back to earth. It's too ghetto. I done did my part, girl. And I need you to pay me for time and suffering and pain and suffering. These motherfuckers, when I was on that cross, I low-key wanted to say, Father, fuck them up. Fuck them up, God. Fuck them up. They don't fuck them up. You did it before. Do it again. But I'm talking about the grace and mercy that Christ had, according to the narrative, to actually go to hell. So that no matter where you may quote unquote fall under the spectrum, that you have redemption and that you are loved, and that at any fucking moment you can go back into alignment, because in reality we're already aligned. So are we saying that Christ died for nothing? Are we saying that, fuck, is your living in vain? Was his living in vain? Was his living in vain? Was his preaching and giving and praying and healing and doing all type of miracles in vain? And the easiest form of miracles you could provide in someone's life is to give them love. Because love is so priceless, but yet it's free. And it's available, and it's abundant right now. Even to the point to where, once again, Tim ass was damn glitching, girl. He done fucking froze, girl. He's about to have an aneurysm, girl, because he praising God, but talking shit under his breath. And, oh my God, these are people, but they still demons. Like, he was conflicting with himself. And that be the problem and the issue that LGBT people deal with, a lot of heterosexual people. Let's get to the real issue. Why do you personally, put the Bible aside, why do you personally feel that way about LGBT people, and tell the truth? Deal with your guilt and shame, because you know that you're doing something wrong and you are projecting that wrong onto other people. And instead of being accountable, which doesn't have to be a bad thing, it simply means that, you know what, I'm willing to make a change for the better, because I'm not always right. And to please educate me so that I can build that community of love, and so that I can also go into other spaces where there are other people who think the old way that I used to, and to be able to get them to understand within reason, because this is literally just human rights. Human rights. But we also have to look at the condition of humankind, especially here in America. I'm not saying at all that all of it is bad, because it's not. There are groups of people, and those numbers are rising every day, of people who are waking up and seeing it for what it is. And those people who are waking up are thankful and grateful, because there are people who came before you, who went through the same situations as you, and has made their way out of it and have become better from it. Again, the example of me using sarcasm and tone. Back in 2008, 2006, 7, 8, around that time, watching these people, them share their actual lives, what they lost, all because of an interpretation of a book from a bunch of individuals who don't even know how to interpret it for themselves. But that's why Christ is within. And once you start loving yourself, baby, you transcend the Bible, because the Bible is the basic instructions, girl. Eventually, you have to level up. Eventually, you have to start applying this to your life. And that's when life becomes your teacher now, because you look at it as a teacher. You don't look at life happening just to me, but through me. That's why Christ said to be cognitive of what you think and how you feel, to open your mind, to renew your mind, which means to open your mind to expand more, and to not harden your heart. And again, shout out to Timothy Kurek for being an individual to actually do that and to share every part of it. And whatever guilt and shame that people feel by reading this book in reference to, oh my God, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I hurt these people, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yes, you were wrong. But guess what? You now have an opportunity to make it right. The real question you should be asking yourself, or we all should be asking ourselves, are we willing to love ourselves through the guilt and shame, to see our humanity through the guilt and shame, to see the God in us through the guilt and shame, so that we can see it through other and in other people as well. And I'm just an individual who was just crazy enough to believe it. I got one life to live. I know what my life was like. I could have been dead and gone plenty of times before by my own hands. 2 of them, I was really contemplating it. But I'm grateful for those experiences looking back in retrospect, because now those experiences are preparing me for the man I am. They have made me the man I am today, and they're preparing me for the man I will continue to grow and evolve into until I draw my last breath. I'm going to die one day, and whenever that is not my job. My job is to live, or to basically die before I actually die, so that I can truly, genuinely live. And I would encourage other people to do the same, whatever that may look like. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody, do that. But we have to find a way to find a common communal love for each other through all the levels, through all the degrees, through all the the intersections and subsections. But like I said, I just believe it's possible. So anyway, thank y'all for rocking with me. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Low Key Fur. Shout out to Queen Donna B. Shout out to Queen Amber. I appreciate you, Amber. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to King Rico in the house. Shout out to my bro Aaron. My bad, I ain't get to you. I feel like he drunk, brother. I'm love. Yeah, your ass is drunk. You tipsy. All that shit. Queen Spicy. Shout out to Queen Spicy. I think that's it. Shout out to everybody who's in the bushes. Shout out to the replay gang. Okay, and please like the video. You ain't gotta subscribe because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but you can at least like the damn video. Okay, that's the least you can do. Damn, do some community work, girl. Just boom. That's your check mark that I'm going to heaven card, girl. Help a homosexual out, girl. In Jesus' name, I pray. Also, before I go, please make sure y'all in the building if you possibly can. Sunday at midnight. Sunday at midnight. Okay. I'm finally going to sit down and have a public conversation with Ron Vugada, which is going to be good. I'm excited about that conversation. I'm a little bit nervous, really not for me, but more so for him, because it's like, baby, my job is to try to find a bridge so that we can all come together in a communal way, but we also gonna speak the facts and the truth, and it's going to be a passionate conversation. I don't want it to be a debate. I want it to be a conversation, and it can become passionate. It can become heated if need be, because this is something that we have to deal with, and whatever comes with it, whatever amount of turbulence that comes with it, are we gonna rock through it? Baby, we gonna be riding goddamn Delta. We ain't doing no Spirit Airlines, girl. We doing Delta. Okay, you're gonna have to step your ticket game up, girl. You can even fly in the stowaway with the animals if you want to, girl, but are you gonna be able to weather the turbulence? And we gonna get through it. So I'm excited about that. So make sure you join us Sunday at midnight for us to have the public conversation. And yeah, thank y'all so much for taking the time out to listen and to support me as I read through The Cross in the Closet. I love this book. After this book, I'm going to have to find another one. And I would like, probably in the near future when I do another book, to be more interactive. Like, I would like to have a panel discussion, and maybe we can have someone read a chapter, or just break them up in chapters, or just have people come up and just give their own opinions and perspectives on how they feel about the book and what resonated with them. Okay, and of course we're going to leave with one of our theme outros called Tears, which is a cover that B Slade did. I forgot the actual gospel artist who originally made the song, but B Slade's version of it is just so amazing. So no matter what you're going through, I want you all to remember that you are love. Okay, you are loved. So give love so that you can receive love. And until the next read through, y'all, peace.
Feeling so lonely, feeling so down when you need someone. No one's there to be found. The pain inside can't be expressed verbally, so you cry on your pillow. You don't know what you're saying, but I know an interpreter of tears. And when your voice you cry, it lends an open ear. Oh, God understands the language of tears. He knows all about all your pain and your fears when you're right and you're wrong, when your friends are gone. He's a shoulder to cry on. God understands your tears. You can't keep it bottled inside, so just let it out. In God you confide. That's what He's there for. He knows all your pain. It's alright to cry. Joy will come in the morning, but I know interpreter of your tears. And when your voice will cry, there's an open ear. Oh, God understands the language of tears. He knows all about all your pains and your fears when you're right and you're wrong, when your friends are gone. He's a shoulder to cry on. God understands your tears. He understands the language of tears. Oh, the language of tears. When you're right and when you're wrong, when your friends are gone, He's a shoulder to cry on. God understands your tears. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He knows all about your pain. Oh, yes, He does. He understands.